All right, I am making a video that I didn't think I would ever be able to make, quite literally. About a month and a half ago, on December 22nd, 2025, I did something that I didn't think I would ever be able to do. And it is a month and a half later right now. It's February 13th. It's Friday, February 13th right now. That's kind of funny. And what I did still hasn't lost impact on me. On December 22nd, I went into the old house I used to live in with my ex-wife and my daughters. I went back to my old house, and there was so much pain in that house, so much hurt in that house, that I didn't know if I'd be able to go back. And quite honestly, I'm really fucking proud of myself for being able to do it. And it felt so good to roll back into that house as a whole man. I left broken. I left very broken. I was hurt. I was angry. I was bitter. I was confused. I was scared. I was going to be living on my own. And I felt very guilty about leaving my daughters. You know, getting divorced is hell. I don't wish it upon anybody. It is horrible. And it has taken me 9 years to be able to go back into that house and feel comfortable. I went in, I didn't have any anxiety. I didn't have any worry. And that's amazing. You know, I have a caregiver right now. Her name is Julie. And she's been with me for about 4 years. And 4 years ago, I literally couldn't even have my ex-wife into my house, Natalie. I couldn't even say her name. Natalie. I can say it now, no problem. But I couldn't say it 4 years ago. And it hurt so bad. Everything hurt about the divorce, and even talking about divorce hurt. And about 3 years ago, Natalie was coming over to drop my daughters off, and I couldn't even have her in my house. I didn't want her in my space. And Julie said, well, what if you invited her in the house? And I said, no. Why would I do that? That's crazy. There's no way I'd do that. And she's like, why not? And quite honestly, Julie is an absolute gift for me, because Julie challenges me. And she said, why not? Why not invite her into the house? So I did. I went out to the street, and as I usually would have her drop the kids off and then let her sit out in the car while I visited with my daughters. But this time I said, well, you want to come in? And she said, yeah. So all of us stood right over there by my piano and talked. And no issues, no problems. It was all in me. All the fear was within me. And that changed my healing journey by inviting her into my house. I didn't think I could do it, and it didn't hurt when I did do it. So incrementally, I was able to do more. And my big fear with my ex-wife is that she's going to say something that hurts me, or she's going to bring up something that I'm going to have to be honest about, and then it's going to upset her. And it used to be that I would get reprimanded for that, and there would be silent treatments, and there'd be gaslighting, and there'd be all kinds of things that would happen when I spoke my truth, or when it's a long list of things of my growing up, of not being able to communicate my emotions and not being able to let things out. So my healing journey is a lot about truth, and about sharing my truth and being truthful to me. And so I knew that when I went into the house, that I needed to be truthful with me, that I couldn't go in there and lie about anything, about how I felt about things, or that was a big challenge for me. So on the day that my youngest daughter, London, has been asking me to come to the house for probably a couple years, and I would say, I'm not quite sure yet, I'm not ready yet. And then this year she asked me, and I said, sure, I'd be happy to go. And I really compliment her. She made this happen. London made this happen. And she just said she wanted to have me over, and she wanted to watch family videos and just be together. And I'm so glad I don't have to turn that down now. I'm so glad that I am able to do that now, because that is healing for all of us. And on the night that I went over there, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and of course it started raining as I was going over, and that caused some issues because I needed to go. I couldn't just go in the front door because it has stairs and my wheelchair won't make it. So I needed to go around the back, and I needed to go over some hurdles to get there. Well, right when I went off the driveway, I thought I was just going to land on a piece of dirt that looked pretty hard, but it wasn't. The rain had gotten it, and it was mud. So my wheels on my wheelchair were spinning, and I thought, oh shit, I'm stuck. I really thought I was stuck. I was spinning, I wasn't moving. There was a bump in front of me that I had to go over, and I couldn't go backwards because there was a lip on the driveway. And I had Julie there and my 2 daughters, and they were pushing and pushing and pushing, and I wasn't coming out. I was stuck. I was thinking in my mind, we're gonna have to get a rope and use my van to pull me out, or call a tow truck, because I couldn't go back up on the driveway. And I'm thinking, shit, I can't even get in the house. And so the universe really tested me right away. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep on going? And I was thinking in my mind, yes, I need to get inside. I need to get inside. And so I don't know how it happened, but my daughters were pushing and Julie was pushing, and then suddenly, boom, I got freed. And I went over the next hurdle. I had to go over a root in the ground, and I went over that, and I just kept on rolling to the back patio. And then I got in the house. And my chair was so muddy, and it was the best mud I've ever had on my wheelchair. You know, they laid down some cardboard in the house so that I didn't get mud all over the hardwood floors. And I made it. Natalie has remodeled the kitchen since I'd been there, so that was different. You know, just rolling in the house felt good. We had shared so many memories in that house. You know, we raised my daughters there, and we lived our life there. And I had been through so many things in that house, and a lot of turmoil, yes, but a lot of good things. And I wanted to focus on the good things. And so we rolled in, and Natalie had made, everybody made white spaghetti, which is like spaghetti with a white sauce and kielbasa sausage. It's a family favorite. It was something that we would make all the time. So we had that, and we just talked and sat, and of course I sat. I'm always sitting, but it was easy, no anxiety. And we laughed, and we talked, and we shared. And then London put on family movies, and lots of laughter. And, oh my gosh, do you remember that? And, oh, look at you, and look at that. And yeah, we did that there. And do you remember this? And do you remember that? It just brought up so many wonderful memories that was fun to walk down memory lane. And not, I have been hurt by my past. I've been stuck in my past for so long in my life, not just my marriage, but even before that. There's been so much hurt that I haven't been able to get over. Well, I wasn't getting over. I'm getting over it now. I'm over it now. And the things that used to matter a lot just don't matter. The things that I was so mad about that my ex-wife did don't matter anymore. It took me a long time to get there. It took a lot of forgiveness, took a lot of work on me, because really, I'm the problem and the solution. I'm figuring that out, that it's not about her, it's about me. And it's about me opening my heart. And that's what I've worked on the most, is opening my heart and operating from love, completely operating from love. And it, I've never spoken poorly about my wife to my daughters. I will never do that, because I will not ruin their relationship. That's very important for them. And to be in the house and not feel those bad things again was healing, was very, very healing for me. I asked my ex-wife if she would mind if I went into our old bathroom in the bedroom, the master bathroom, and when I lived there, I couldn't get in the shower, so we needed to remodel the bathroom, but we didn't have the money to do that. So we asked friends and family, and money came pouring in, and we were able to remodel the bathroom. Really nice, had a roll-in shower, and I'd spent a lot of time there. Really, I was asking to go into that bedroom and that bathroom to challenge myself, to say, I've spent a lot of time hurting in those spaces, and I'm going to go back in as a whole person with an open heart. And it was so wild, so wild. I rolled into the bedroom and nothing had changed. Same bed frame, same furniture, same paint, same stuff. I went into the bathroom, same. It looked the exact same as when I lived there 9 years ago. And that kind of threw me, because Natalie had been married and divorced since then. And I would have thought that she would have changed the bedroom, having a new husband. And the same pictures were on the wall in the bedroom, which really threw me, actually. Because when I lived there, I would sit on my bed, and there was 2 pictures of my daughters that were on the wall. They were in mirror, the frames were made out of mirrors. And they're black and white pictures of my girls when they were little, and those same pictures are on the wall. And I would stare at those pictures wondering, how the hell am I going to get out of my situation? How am I going to get divorced? How am I going to leave? I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't fathom getting divorced. I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want to break up the family. I didn't want to leave, except I knew I had to, because I couldn't continue to be treated the way I was being treated by my ex-wife. I couldn't do it anymore. So I knew I had to, but man, I did not want to. And so I stared at those pictures a lot when I was in the house, and now I looked at them, and yes, I'm in a wheelchair. Yes, my body is way different, but I am better. I have healed. I am doing the best I've ever done in my life, I think, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. I'm a whole different man, a completely different man than who I was when I lived there. And so looking at those pictures on the wall was rewarding. It's like I was my future self looking back and saying, I did it. Jim, we did it. We did it. I got out. And I'm thriving in a lot of ways. I thought it would be different when I was sitting on that bed. I was wondering, how am I going to get out? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to do this and do that? And I'm doing it. I have caregivers. I have support. I have love around me. I think I probably have more love around me than I've ever had in my life now. And my heart is opened up so much more than it's ever been. The girls, all 3 of them, my wife and 2 daughters, the ex-wife, sat on the bed and we laughed. We laughed about the fact that nothing had changed in the bedroom. And I said things that I didn't think I would say, because the old me, the old relationship I had with my ex-wife, if I would say certain things, there would be reprimands, or there would be feedback, or there would be something that I'd have to pay for, I guess is a way to say it, or gaslighting. She would turn the tables on me and manipulate. And none of that was there, because it's not possible anymore. I'm not the same man. I'm just so thankful that I could be in the house and realize that I'm free now. Again, realize it in a whole different way. And my wife has a very strong personality. It's who she is. And when some of those old patterns showed up, I saw them, and I was able to just observe them and say, oh my God, I'm so glad that I'm not stuck in that old reality anymore. I'm so glad to be out of that. I have gotten myself out. It's taken a lot of work, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain has happened in this apartment as I've transitioned into my new self, but that's how it happens. You know, I wish it was like snap of the fingers. I'm trying to snap my fingers. But healing isn't like that. And it takes moments like going into the house on December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. That was the best gift I could have given me and my family, is showing up for me as me, and not afraid to be me, not afraid to speak. And I shined. I shined. I shined because I was authentic and I was real, and I wasn't stuck in the old cocoon of fear that I was in for so long. Fear of what I said, and we laughed, and honestly, my laughter has been subdued for years because being in survival mode, when I laugh, I have so many layers of worry, of thought that I go through, and I was able to shut that off when I went in the house. And as I got ready to leave, we were standing in the kitchen, and I said, "Well, we should do this again soon." Actually, let me back up first. My ex-wife had said something, and I said, I said something like, it was really good to be here. And Natalie said, well, yeah, we wanted you to be here like 8 years ago. We thought it'd be nice for you to be here then. And I was standing right next to London, and we locked eyes, and she said, you weren't ready. And I said out loud, I said, I wasn't ready. And Natalie just said, fair enough. But I wasn't ready 8 years ago. And Natalie doesn't understand the complexity of where I was at that time, and that's okay. It's totally okay now. We are on different journeys, and I'm thankful for who she is, the mother that she is to my daughters, and that we shared the life that we did. I'm so grateful to be in that space now that I can say that and have the open heart to live it. And then I said, well, we should do this again soon. And London said, well, maybe we could make it a Christmas tradition. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. We've always loved our Christmases. We did love our Christmases a lot when I lived there. And so to create a Christmas tradition out of love, without worry, without anxiety, is something that is an amazing healing gift for me and my family. And to even say my family, because they are my family, they will always be my family. And quite honestly, they were the best family I ever had. Living in that home was the safest I had ever felt in my life until I didn't. And then I needed to move, and I needed to divorce the old life in order to be here now. And I'm so grateful to be able to say that when you look at this video right now, when you see me, healing looks a lot of different ways. And right now I am healing in action. This is what healing looks like. Yep. My left hand isn't working great. I can't lift up my right arm yet, but this is where I'm at right now. And because of the changes that I'm making, there is so much happening within my body biologically. The work that I'm doing with Dr. Joe Dispenza has taught me so much. The counseling that I'm doing right now with EMDR that gets rid of trauma, learning about complex PTSD, which is not all PTSD is one big event. Complex PTSD is where you're living in trauma all the time. And whenever just being in the house at times was traumatic. I grew up in trauma-filled homes. I grew up with yelling and screaming, and it wasn't one big event. It was a culmination of events happening over and over and over again to where I didn't feel safe. And so I've learned about that. And you can't heal without feeling safe. And I feel safe in my environment now with my caregiver, Julie, the team of caregivers that I have right now, my mental attitude, my fortitude, the perseverance that I've had. I feel safe. And doing things like rolling into that house is showing my nervous system that I'm safe. And that's what this is about, is changing my nervous system. Multiple sclerosis comes about from a dysregulated nervous system. And how does a nervous system become dysregulated? It doesn't feel safe. And then being in survival mode and having to protect, scan for safety, scan for fear all the time. It creates a nervous system that becomes dysregulated. So by doing things that are safe, I'm retraining my body, and biologically things are changing. It's slower than I would like. I would like it to go bing, bang, boom and be done. But honestly, I've got to step back into a new life. In the last week, I have felt really weird because everything's okay. How crazy is that? I feel weird because everything is okay. For so long, I've lived in trauma for so long that I thought that was normal. And so as I get out of the trauma, like for instance, right now, things with 3 women in my life, my sister, my ex-wife, and my mom, are all going well. I'm understanding things better. I'm seeing them for who they are more. I'm forgiving and accepting and allowing and loving and letting things in the past be gone. They just don't need to be there. That's healing. And I'm learning how to, I'm stepping into a whole new reality, a whole new future. I'm stepping into something that I've never experienced before because I've always been worried about something. I haven't felt safe. So, man, I have not made a video for so long. I've just really been focusing on me lately and focusing on my healing and going within a lot and doing the work. I've been doing the work, not just because it hasn't been easy, but it's this kind of stuff that is worth it. And making a video right now and being able to talk about all that I've been through, it just reminds me of all the work that I've done to get to where I am. And this shit ain't easy. Man, this work is not easy. Healing is not easy. Forgiving is not easy. Opening my heart has not been easy. My nervous system saying, but wait, remember that it hurts when you say those things, that you've been hurt before, watch out. And I'm not that same man anymore. I am stepping into a new life, rolling into a new life. And it takes a billion micro yeses. That's something I've been really stepping into, a billion micro yeses to heal. What does that mean? It means you got to say yes. I said yes to my daughter. I said yes to rolling into my house. I said yes to the challenge of opening my heart. I said yes to laughing and forgiving. I just a billion micro yeses. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being there. Thank you. And maybe I'm just looking at myself when I say that. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for being there. Thank you for doing this. Thank you. And I love you, man. I love you. I'm very grateful for being able to open my heart and grow. So with that, I'll say the 3 words that I think are the best way to end any video is love, love, love. And I hope things are going well in your lives. Love, love, love.